Ghosting in texting is very common. Nowadays, keeping in touch with the person you're dating through text or WhatsApp is essential. Not only does it help maintain communication in the relationship, but it can provide crucial clues about their feelings towards you. Unfortunately, ghosting in texting has become an easy way to end a relationship. Instead of dealing with the awkwardness or drama of explaining, "It's over," ghosters may simply send uninterested, enigmatic text messages. They may even just suddenly stop texting altogether with no explanation, leaving you wondering why you were ghosted. If you're in doubt as to whether you're being ghosted, keep watching. In dating, it can be frustrating when you receive elusive text messages. When someone replies with, "Been a bit busy lately," and makes no suggestions to meet up, it can leave you hanging. Are they really that busy? Or are they simply not interested? You may wonder. How do I know if someone is going to ghost me in texting? Although ghosting is defined as cutting off communication entirely, thereby ending the relationship, there may be hints preceding this. Some people describe a feeling of uncertainty from the other person leading up to the final act of ghosting. Others have described long periods of silence in texting prior to ghosting. People ghost because, for whatever reason, they lose interest in the relationship and do not want it to continue. Ghosting in texting is also one of the commonest and easiest ways to ghost someone. Therefore, if someone is demonstrating a lack of enthusiasm towards texting you and doesn't seem active in keeping in touch or making plans, it's simply not surprising when they ghost. Here, we analyze how someone's behavior in texting can provide clues as to whether they may eventually ghost you. Remember that in relationships, there are no exact rules. One's behavior can be subjective and influenced by one's personality, habits, culture, and more. What's normal for one person may not be normal for someone else. However, the following behaviors in texting are generally negative. They may suggest a lack of interest from the other person. 1. Long response time. Response time in texting is a good indicator as to how highly you rank on someone's list of priorities. Instead of basing your judgment on the one instance, it's important to maintain perspective. For example, someone may take much longer to respond due to being busy at work. If they then go back to texting you frequently afterward once it's over, that's perfectly reasonable. However, if the guy you are seeing responds sporadically, taking days to reply, this is not a good sign. If you find that you are responding to the other person within the hour, but he only replies to you much later, it shows that the ball is in his court, not yours. 2. Long periods of silence. Putting it simply, when you really like someone, it's normal to want to stay in contact with them regularly. It's understandable that sometimes people go through periods where they cannot respond quickly in texting. However, if you are experiencing long periods of silence, this likely indicates a lack of interest. It's possible they may like you as a person, but for whatever reason, they are not truly available for a relationship in which you are a part of their everyday life. When it takes someone a week to send a simple text message saying, "I'm good, thanks," with not much else, then it's hard to believe that they are genuinely interested. If someone has already reached the point where they are hardly bothered to respond, it's easy to then cut someone out of their life entirely by ghosting. Remember, a person who wants a relationship with you will also put in effort to maintain it. 3. They avoid making plans. If the other person is happy to text about trivial matters such as the weather, but they always appear busy and difficult to make plans with, this is a bad sign. Even people who are genuinely very busy will find a way to see you if they really want to. There's a difference between the guy who says, "Sorry, I'm pretty busy these days," but never makes concrete plans, and the guy who says, "I'm working on a really important deal at work, but it should settle by the end of next week. I would love to see you once the craziness is over. Can we make a plan for the Saturday after?" 4. Little genuine concern about you. When texting the guy or girl you are seeing, do your conversations seem one-sided? Sometimes it's not just about the frequency of texting, but the actual content of what they are saying. Do they show any interest in your life? Or check in to see how you are doing? Do they show concern when you are not feeling well? If the answer is no, you may want to assess whether they actually care about you and your well-being. Someone who lacks concern for you is far more likely to ghost than someone who genuinely cares. 5. That feeling of uncertainty. Dating can be exciting, especially in the early stages when you are just getting to know the other person. Many people enjoy the phase where dating is simply just dating, with no titles, no expectations, and no commitments. Everyone's experienced that feeling when you check your phone periodically to see if the guy or girl you're seeing has texted you. The uncertainty can be annoying, yet elusive and exciting at the same time. However, if months down the line the uncertainty persists and you feel like you can't quite grasp where things are going, it could be a bad sign. If they are still vague or unreliable in texting you, even after dating for a significant period of time, they may be intentionally keeping you at arm's length. A frequent comment from those who had been ghosted was that they felt the other person left them feeling slightly uncertain. Anne, 28, says, "He would often text with short answers like, 'Yeah, went out with friends, it was good, pretty busy week.' He never really elaborated much about what he'd been up to, and when he did want to meet up, it was sporadic. Even though I'd been seeing him for a few months, I felt none the wiser about where I stood." 6. The other person's tone. A lack of enthusiasm in texting from the other person may also lead to feeling uncertain about the relationship. Does the other person seem to enjoy texting you? If the other person's tone seems deadpan, with short replies compared to your flirty, suggestive messages, they may not be that into you. 7. Texting you as a last resort. If he or she texts you when they've been canceled on, or late at night when they are drunk, it's important to look past their words and focus on their actions. Sure, their words might read, "Miss you, babe," but where were they when you were open to making proper plans? Would someone who really enjoyed and looked forward to spending time with you only text you as a last resort? In conclusion, although people can ghost without warning, often their behavior in texting can provide clues as to whether they may ghost you further down the line. Texting has become an important way in which we demonstrate interest during dating, and even a means of getting to know someone in the early stages. Therefore, if you find that someone seems a bit off in the other person's texts, you may be onto something. It might be their tone, their response time, or even the circumstances in which they text you. Sometimes, when we have feelings for another person, the excitement of hearing from them can make us so happy that it's easy to ignore the warning signs. While there's no need to overanalyze every single text message, it's important to stay level-headed and assess how genuinely interested they are. Some people are caught off guard when they realize they have been a victim of ghosting in texting. If you take note of these signs of ghosting in texting, you'll be better able to spot a potential ghoster. Been ghosted? For the ultimate guide on how to deal with ghosting, head on over to www.ghostinghelp.com.